Good morning, this is Faith at Faith and Books. Can you hear those frogs? They're really singing down there at the pond. I don't know if you can hear them or not. Anyway, I thought I would do a sort of a reading wrap up of the week. I haven't finished anything this week to speak of. What were just went out of my head. And then, I'm going to start a new thing. And then I thought I would just touch on the anti-inflammatory diet. I'm going to try and make this quick. So I'm still reading Swallows and Amazons. There was a day where I'd mislaid it, and I spent the whole day searching for it, and it turned out to be in a stack of books right in front of my nose. That was kind of depressing. I've been doing that all week. I think we're just so stressed out, or I'm stressed out, that I'm getting more and more ADD. So kind of discouraging. Anyway, I'm enjoying Swallows and Amazons. It's a very sweet, gentle story, well written. It's so gentle, I tend to fall asleep while I'm reading it. So I'm going slower than you would think with a children's story, or I don't know, it's middle grade and up. But it's lovely. It's really, really lovely. I'm enjoying it. It's a very relaxing read. Then I'm also still working on John Adams, and I'm reading it with Alba at Seriella, and we're kind of uneven. Like I'll read a chapter ahead, kind of by mistake, sorry, or vice versa. But I'm in the middle of chapter 7, and I'm hoping to get it finished by tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll chat with you, Alba, about it. So it's very interesting in this current time of civil unrest. It's really making me think about it. Just the whole legacy of slavery and the ideals of our founding fathers and that sort of thing. So it's definitely everything that's going on currently is definitely making me read this in a different way, with a different perspective than I initially thought I would be reading with. Or I don't know if I thought about it, but my initial attitude towards it, I think, shifted because of current events. And then something exciting about Confessions. I'd just gotten into it. I'd read the introduction. I was just a few pages in to the actual text of it. But an old friend of mine contacted me, and we were having a discussion. We decided to read this together on Boxer. So she found her copy, and she's going to catch up and let me know, and then we're going to read it together. So I'm excited about this. And I'm also reading it for the Word on Fire Institute Book Club, so I'll be discussing it with them next month. So I think I will really, and I've already read this book a couple of times, so I think I'll really know this really well by the end of July. So this is going really slowly, my Romans and Galatians. I just read a few lines. I'm underlining everything. Oops, I keep a pencil stuck in there because I'm just marking everything up. I'm going really slowly through it. So I'm glad I didn't use this for my maybe mid-rush where I would have felt rushed. It's become more of a meditation type thing. And then one thing that's really fun that I've been doing is reading short stories by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I was inspired to do this by Kate Howe's Read Along, which I don't remember if it's happening this month or next month. They're reading a collection of her short stories. I didn't want to buy a new book, so I looked for what was free on Kindle. I found Cousin Phyllis, which is the name of the collection of stories that they're going to be reading in whatever month. I found that for free, and I read that. And then I found another one for free called The Poor Clare, which I really liked. And I read that. And then I couldn't find any more free. You really have to look around. You really have to get in there and noodle around for the free Kindle and Elizabeth Gaskell. But I found another collection of short stories that were free. And so I've been just working my way through that. Let me see if I can find... I've read The Gray Woman, Curious If True, 6 Weeks at Heppenheim, Libby Marsh's 3 Eras, I just finished that one, Christmas Storms and Sunshine, oh yeah, I read that one too, and now I'm just starting Hand and Heart. And then is this the last one? Bessie's Troubles at Home, And then the last story is called Disappearances. So I'm really enjoying these short stories. They're either a little bit spooky, a little bit gothic, or they're just little, almost like morality tales, but very well written and with developed empathetic, or you feel empathy for the characters in it. So really enjoying it a lot. So I thank Kate Howe for it, because I would never have thought to look for Elizabeth Gaskell's short stories. And so I thank Kate Howe for giving me the idea, even though I'm not really cooperating, because I'm truly enjoying them a lot. They are relaxing to read in the middle of the night when I wake up, or when I'm sitting next to the 4-year-old while he sleeps. Is really, really good. Really good thing. So I'll be sad when those are over, and I might not be able to find many more. So, anybody have any suggestions for gentle short stories I should be reading? Maybe I should stick with the Victorian era. Not sure. Anyway, okay, it's already 6 minutes. Okay, so I have this idea, which I got in my head. Listen, I feel like I just inhaled pollen or something. Also, a chicken update. We didn't, I don't know, pollen made me think of garden made me think of chicken. Anyway, we never moved the chickens, because that day that we were supposed to move the chickens, the guy called and said his truck wasn't working. So I don't know what was wrong with the truck. So then it rained the next couple of days. So then, and he couldn't use his truck because it would get stuck in the mud near the his chicken coop where he was going to keep our chickens. And then, so finally on Friday, so we got it all set up. My son helped me, and we got everything ready. And he came, and the truck was too small. We can't fit So he said, first of all, you're set so far back. How do your neighbors even know you have these 4 quiet chickens? It's kind of ridiculous to go to all this, just, And also he said, you're literally keeping the chickens in your house, in the garage. How can zoning have anything to do with that? So I don't know. I think we're just going to continue to keep them and, try to go through the process. It's the stupidest process in the world. It's turning me into like a libertarian or something on this one point, which I'm not usually like that, but just, it's so ridiculous. It just makes no sense to have this kind of prohibition. My county is so snooty, and it's like, my county is like a great big homeowners association that's really picky about stupid things. And they do so many things that just bother me. Like, they don't make anything walkable. I think they're starting to make it walkable, but they wanted to keep like the country feel of it, because this was all farmland. So they don't put sidewalks in. We have all these windy roads that flood, but then they keep, because it's so profitable, they keep letting these huge housing developments, these huge, ugly, non-environmentally friendly housing developments, like the one right behind us, go up. So there's more cars, there's more of a demand on the grid, because these are huge houses. They're like $2 million, $2.5 million dollars, and they need 2 air conditioning units, they need 2 hot water heaters. I mean, they're just incredible, and like 2 or 3 people live in these houses, or maybe 4. It's just dumb. It's so dumb. So those go up, but at the same time, they don't, you can't get on your bike and safely bike from one point to another, because it's these country roads that it's just really, so I don't like the way my county does things. It's really, really snooty and all about pretentious, showy, display of wealth. Ugh. Anyway, okay, let me get back on topic. So, I was reading The Unknown Ajax by Georgette Hare, and it's so replete with references to Shakespeare that made me sort of, and then we had the Shakespeare tag, and so I've been thinking a lot about Shakespeare, and I belong to this group on Facebook called the Georgette Hare or Hire Appreciation Group. And I asked them about a phrase that I ran across in The Unknown Ajax, where they said they used that phrase, to the manor born, but it was spelled M-A-N-N-E-R. I even wrote this out this morning. Can you see that? Manor. versus manner. Wait, my shadow's in the way. Anyway, so the first one, M-A-N-N-E-R, it turns out, so was the original Shakespeare. But I thought it was supposed to be M-A-N-O-R because I was thinking back to that old British TV show with Penelope Keith. Does anybody remember that show? My mother used to love that show. About the woman who lived on the estate, but then she had to sell it, but she moves to the carriage house, and then this rich new industrialist moves in, and it's all about their relationship. It was really funny. So that was To the Manor Born, M-A-N-O-R. So I asked about that, and it turns out that's a really interesting thing. Shakespeare created the saying, and it's To the Manor Born, M-A-N-N-E-R. But that means, you know, what you're born into, the way you were raised, the customs you were taught as a child. So that's what that originally meant. To the manor born sort of means like being born with a silver spoon in your mouth, that kind of thing, born into wealth. But that TV show, I thought that their title was just a pun that they'd made up. But no, actually at some point, somebody, some unknown anonymous person moved it or changed it to M-A-N-O-R, and it got a different connotation, and that's actually the connotation we use the most now, and the spelling we use the most. But Shakespeare used the other spelling, and it had a different connotation. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that, and that made me think of this book I have called Brush Up Your Shakespeare. And I think that's from, a song. Who were those people that wrote all those? Oh, no. Oh, well. Anyway, Brush Up Your Shakespeare. And it's got all these different sayings that Shakespeare invented. And To the Manor Born actually isn't in it. I looked it up. Oh, it's Cole Porter. Wasn't it Cole Porter who said that? Yeah. He quotes him right here. Anyway, this is an old book that I've had. I think I got it from the Common Reader. Remember the Common Reader book catalog a long time ago? It's a really, really fun book catalog. So I thought, on Saturdays, some Saturday mornings, I'm just going to do a little bit of study from this book, and I'll bring you guys along with it because, like I said, for many, many years, for the first 30 years of my life, well, not quite that much, but 20 years, starting around the age of 10, I decided Shakespeare wasn't for me, but I've slowly, over the years, begun to really, truly appreciate him. And so this could be part of that, part of my journey to Shakespeare. So, Brush Up Your Shakespeare, the quotable and the notable, famous phrases from Shakespeare. And I was thinking I might just go through these. I won't do it this morning, but because we already discussed To the Manor Born. But that might be an occasional Saturday morning fun video to do. So that is it for me. I've talked already 13 minutes. I really didn't mean to. Gosh, I'm a chatterer. So I hope you're doing well in this confusing time. And I guess I'll talk to you later. Bye.